Hey everyone, and welcome to our latest video. My name's Total Sumbro, and today I want to talk about Trials of Osiris. Specifically, I want to talk about where it's gone wrong for the community, and what are some things that we as the players and Bungie as the developer can do to fix it. Now, if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our Destiny 2 notifications, make sure to hit that bell so that you get notifications when we upload a new video. Thank you for stopping by, and let's get into the video. Thank you. Now, the best part to start with is probably the pain points that we see in Trials of Osiris, okay? So the first pain point is that you'll see the same names over and over and over again, and that's due to low player population in Trials. In summary, why isn't it a popular game mode? Second pain point is loadout choice. If you're playing Trials, you play the meta. Now, while this is a pain point, I don't necessarily think there's anything super wrong here, and I'm going to touch more on this later on in the video. So, stay tuned for that. Thank you. The barrier to entry is the third thing I want to talk about. If you are a new player coming into Destiny, going into Trials of Osiris is a surefire way to know that you want to have a terrible time. The folks that you're going to run into are absolutely going to run over you unless you have an absolutely astute understanding of what's happening in the game, what's going on, what do different abilities do, what do different perks affect, what do different character stats affect, how does that reduce your cooldowns, what cooldowns tie to what abilities, how do you increase your super regeneration. I can go on ad infinitum, you know, on this point, but my main point here is that the barrier to entry of Trials is super high, and it's not very forgiving for folks to get into it the first time. And as folks do get into it, you know, if they have a bad time, they're not going to come back, and that leads back into our low player population. Now, what are one of the things that increase that barrier to entry? I think, and I don't know this 100%, this is anecdotal, but I think there are teams that are farming wins at lower levels on the card because they're easier wins for those teams. I mean, why would you struggle? Why would you play against players who are of the same caliber of you if you can just absolutely roll over folks, okay? So you have teams that have gone flawless, that have earned the flawless title like this season, and they'll go in and you'll be playing a brand new card and you'll run into these teams. And what's meant to happen after you run into those teams other than for you to have a bad time? And no one wants to see that. Now, the last pain point that I want to address is Trials card inconsistency. Why am I playing a brand new card, no games played on the card, first game of the weekend, and I'm already playing against a team that has 3 wins on their card? Now, I understand that Trials uses connection and card-based matchmaking to improve the load times into the lobbies to keep games moving. But I think that connection-based needs to be tuned down a little bit, and I think the card-based needs to be increased a little bit so that you're playing people that you should be playing. Now, I'm getting the previous information that I just stated straight from Luke Smith. He's the game director for Destiny 2 at Bungie. And he said in a tweet on February 25th that Trials uses connection-based and card state matchmaking. When you're on the cusp of visiting the new lighthouse, the one you built with tons of fractaling and effort, we want you to be facing someone in a similar spot. Okay? The issue is that while you may be facing someone in a similar spot, I think there's a vast difference between someone on a brand new card and someone on 3 wins on the card. I think those need to be entirely separated. If you're playing a new card, you should be playing someone with a new card. And even if there's some bleed over, 1 or 2, but I shouldn't almost be playing someone halfway through their card starting out fresh. That should not be happening, and it's going to push new players out of that lobby, out of that playlist, and we don't want to see that, right? We want to see Trials succeed. We want to see this do well. Now, player population will increase when Beyond Light comes out. We know that. The game is going to be free with Game Pass on Xbox. I mean, you pay for Game Pass, but if you have Game Pass, you'll have all of Destiny up to Beyond Light, and including Beyond Light. I think you're going to see an explosion in players when the PC, basically, polish of the game is brought to consoles where people can have them at home playing in the comfort of their home. Loadout Choice, like I said earlier, it is the pinnacle PvP activity in the game. You need to spend a little bit of time grinding, you need to spend a little bit of time getting those weapons that are going to bring you wins in Trials. You need to grind and you need to get those good weapons. That's on you, the player. That's not an adjustment Bungie needs to make. However, barrier to entry. And at the beginning of the video, I said there were things that we as a community, as the players of Destiny 2, needed to work on, and the people at Bungie needed to work on. Okay? Now, I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but True Vanguard said it really well in talking about how when we're dealing with new players, we really are what makes or breaks the game, okay? We are what is going to make a player choose to keep playing Destiny 2, Trials of Osiris, PvP in general, or to go, you know what, that's an absolute dumpster fire, and I don't want anything to do with it, okay? So when you're out there in PvP, show good sportsmanship, right? Don't be snippy, don't send hate messages, and just in general, don't be toxic to enemy players. That person could be brand new. That's their first experience in Trials, is some hunter freaking 360 no-scoping them, running up, teabagging, and then sending them a message telling them to delete the game, right? No one wants that experience. Don't do it. It's not good. Flawless teams farming early games, okay? What can Bungie do to fix that? Because that's not something players can do. You can tell them not to, but people are going to take the path of least resistance, okay? Bungie has already taken steps towards reducing this, and they've increased rewards later on in the card. Maybe they lean further into that. Maybe for teams that have earned some loot through the week, maybe there's an alternate loot path, or maybe they can farm additional weapons or something to just incentivize players to play out their card. If we don't have players playing out their cards, we're not going to have good games, and we're not going to have games where folks feel like they're having a rewarding time. Okay? You're going to have a small percentage of the population that loads in every week, and they're going to have a great time absolutely pub stomping on new players to the game. And new players to the game are going to play that one time, and then they're going to leave. Hard space matchmaking consistency, like I talked about, it just needs to be reined in. Okay? If I'm on a brand new card, I want to play someone on a brand new card. Okay? If I have 2 wins on my card, if I'm up to the point where I have 2 wins on my card, I'm okay with playing someone with 2 or 3 wins on their card. But again, I shouldn't, at a single win or brand new card, be playing someone with 3 wins on their card. That's not balanced, and that doesn't help anyone. Now, Bungie has already addressed cheats on PC, and where that ties into this is that a lot of carry service, a lot of recovery services in Trials will use cheats to get the games knocked out early, to get whatever player their loot, okay, and then they hop wherever over to the next player and they keep going. Now, Bungie has cracked down on one of the largest cheating platforms on PC for Destiny 2. We will see an improvement there. Almost undoubtedly, we will see an improvement there, okay? But when it comes to recovery services, there is a Destiny 2 content creator named Astacross, and he probably said it best in a tweet on May 15th. He said, by the way, carrying and recovery are not the same. One has a person shouting with joy upon earning that flawless, the other asks why his summoner didn't get moving target. And I think that's a really succinct way of putting it. That's a very, very solid way of putting it, okay? If you want to play Trials, and this goes back to the player base, being good sports, being good players, If you want to play the game, play the game. I understand you might not have the most time, okay? I understand not everyone could go in and spend hours upon hours in grinding this game. That's okay. But you probably have friends that you play with, or you can LFG and find some friends to play with, okay? And just go in and play. Just play the game. As a community, we need to stop using these recovery services. They are bad for the overall health of the game. For my final thoughts, Bungie wants Trials of Osiris to succeed, and they have a wealth of player data to inform their decisions, okay? They have more data than we could ever gather as bystanders or players of this game. I've trusted Bungie up to this point, and I'm going to continue to trust Bungie moving forward to make the decisions that they need to make for this game to be successful. Not only is it in their best interest, but they love this game as much as all of us do, okay? Thank you all for tuning in, and if you liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for our next Destiny 2 video. It's going to be a real banger. Thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.